On Thursday, January 15th, Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi Sanae announced that she will dissolve the Japanese Diet later this month and trigger snap elections in early February. For those of you not familiar with parliamentary politics, this means that she's gambling on her own popularity to bring in more seats for her Liberal Democratic Party in the Japanese parliament. She's making this gambit because her personal popularity is just so damn high. Polling has her at 70 to 78%, numbers absolutely unheard of for a Japanese prime minister at this point in their tenure, or really at any stage of their tenure. And despite Japan's increasingly dire economic outlook, Takaichi's ratings seem to defy gravity. Her party's ruling coalition maintains only a tiny majority in the Diet right now, so she hopes to expand that margin in order to give her more political power to enact the right-wing reforms that she has in mind. Basically, she's striking while the iron's still red hot. This, of course, begs the question, why is Takaichi, the cart titan, the face that sank 1,000 ships, Grendel's Japanese stepmother, so popular? I mean, objectively speaking, Japan is in a horrible place economically, politically, and especially demographically. All the big lines are going the wrong way. In fact, just this year, Japan is expected to fall behind India, yes, India, in GDP. And yet, the woman in charge of this full-spectrum disaster has become the most popular Japanese prime minister this century. The simple reason for her otherwise inexplicable popularity is that Takaichi has found the perfect scapegoat for all of Japan's problems: immigrants and the Chinese. Her entire political platform boils down to little more than old-school Japanese ethno-nationalism. It's the classic, we're Japanese, we are the Ubermensch of Asia, any problems we have are because of China and/or immigrants from China, or just anyone who isn't white or Japanese. This is what desperate nations turn to when they're out of real solutions to their real problems. They fantasize problems that don't exist so that they can blame them on people who have nothing to do with their real problems. We've seen this meme before many, many times, and not the least of which in Japan itself. Back in the 1930s, Japan suffered badly from the American-led Great Depression. Just like today, the Japanese right wing seized the moment and took the nation down the path towards total war against enemies it could not possibly defeat. A clear example of how Takaichi boosts her ethno-nationalist narrative is when she propagated the widely debunked fake news about Chinese tourists kicking the wild deer in Nara. She used this and other bits of fake news to crank the China hate meter to 11. She's making it seem as if all of Japan's myriad economic and demographic woes are because of Chinese tourists, aka the people who are literally pumping billions of dollars into Japan's tourism industry that accounts for 10% of the country's entire GDP. Needless to say, China is actually Japan's #1 trading partner, the largest market for its exports, and the sole supplier of many of the rare earths that Japan's high-tech manufacturing can't live without. But all of these things are just facts and data. Put against the power of Takaichi's ethno-nationalist narrative, facts and data account for nothing. Fortunately for Takaichi, and unfortunately for the country she leads, China is never going to back down from Japanese provocations. China might be the grandmaster for doing nothing, but when it comes to Japan, China will make an exception. China has already enacted an intensified rare earth embargo against Japan among a raft of other sanctions targeting its manufacturing and tourism sector. And China is just getting started. It still has plenty of levers left to pull against Japan, such as restricting market access for Japanese cars, electronics, and cultural exports. These exports were already performing poorly in China, so the Chinese government merely needs to twist the knife. Perhaps even worse for Japan, its American liege lord is not coming to its rescue as it would in the past. Despite being ready to blow Trump right there on the stage, Takaichi's government hasn't been able to get Trump on Japan's side in the fight it picked against China. Trump respects one thing and one thing only: power. And Japan has precious little of it. Without American political or economic backing, Japan finds itself in a lonely place at the edge of Eurasia, facing a phalanx of former and current enemies, not the least of which are the two great powers of Eurasia, China and Russia. Even feisty little North Korea has the nuclear long arm to strike Tokyo at will. If China is geopolitically autistic, then Japan is just geopolitically stupid, always making enemies with the wrong people and relying on the wrong people for friends. Let's see how these elections turn out for Takaichi's Liberal Democratic Party. If she gets her way and achieves a bigger majority in the Diet, then that only gives her more rope to hang herself with. And I'm all here for that. Until next time, peace.